Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at perhaps one of the most awaited features of Agile.NX version 8.0 release, that is the new Work Center. Work Center is one of the most highly used modules within an organization, and perhaps each user within an organization touches this module on a daily basis. Over the period of years, we collected feedback from our customers and partners and tried to improve the user experience with the new Work Center. So let's look at this in action. However, before we get into the new work center, I wanted to mention that we understand that there will be organizations who might not want to turn on the new experience for their users day one, and they might have want to put them through some sort of training. So we made sure that both the classic experience as well as modern experience is available side by side, and tenant administrators can decide when to roll it out for their organization. The way this is controlled is if I go to settings, work center settings. These are the modern work center settings. You might see some changes in coming weeks over here. And you can always control the classic work center settings as well. So you can switch between the two. And if you scroll down at the bottom, there are two properties which are of interest over here. One is default work center view. I have set mine to modern. By default, it is set to classic. So you can set a default view for your organization as a tenant administrator. Also, you can allow users can switch between modern and classic view or not. So you can give flexibility to the end users to decide which view they prefer to work in. There would be few users who might prefer to work in the classic view. Others might prefer to work in the modern view. So you can enable this switch. By default, this is disabled. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now, once this is done, I'll go back to Work Center. And since I selected Modern View as my default view, the Modern View gets loaded for me. I'm going to cover all of these widgets in a minute, but because I also said that users should have flexibility of switching between Modern and Classic View, I see an extra link over here at the top, switch to Classic Experience. And if I click on that, it takes me to the familiar experience where you can see more of a grid-based task list. Now, obviously, this also has gone through the CSS changes, so you see a more modern looking look and feel. However, functionality-wise, it remains the same. It is more of a grid-based concept over here. I'm going to switch back to modern experience. The first widget, what it shows me is how many tasks are assigned to me right now, how many are overdue, how many are in assigned status, and how many are sitting with a group which I am part of. So there are two in new status in this case. And based on my historical usage of the system, what is my estimated time of completing these tasks? It also shows me a summary of how many tasks will become an overdue in an hour, overdue in a day, overdue in a week, and I can see it in the current week's calendar as well. Now if I scroll down, the third widget is around task planner. So there is a task planner functionality now. I can say I want to plan my day. At the beginning of each day, I can say I want to add a new task over here, submit shipping information. And in the drop down, what I see is that various tasks which are assigned to me. I can select that one, and I can set a time for it. So I can say I'm going to submit this at, say, maybe 2:30. And I can also create a task for me to submit a new instance of an application. So I can say, if I select the application radio button, it shows me the list of applications which are assigned to me. I'm going to say submit new invoice. This is just a note to myself. And maybe this one I'm going to submit at 3 o'clock. Similarly, I can put a note to myself. I'm going out for a dentist appointment. Doesn't have to be Agile Point related. That's what this functionality is about. I can just put a note to myself and I'll say at 4 p.m. I have a dentist appointment. I'm going to close this one. So as you can see, my tasks are now listed over here. If I click on this button, it shows me the tasks in a calendar view. I can have a monthly view or a daily view in this case. If I scroll down, all those three tasks are showing over here in the daily view. I can add a task from this view as well. The same planner shows up. I'm going to click on back button. Now there are some actions which are associated with it. I can click on edit and edit the task. Since these first two were related to some kind of a form technology, I have an open link. So if I click on this, it opens the task form. I can mark my task as completed and it will be removed from this list. I can reschedule it as well. I can reschedule the task and I can of course delete it. Now moving on to the next widget, I can put some of the running processes in a watch list. Processes which I was part of. If I wanted to watch them, I can just quickly select some checkboxes and say add, and it gets added to my watch list over here. So I can quickly follow these processes while they're running. I can view their process. I can even view their reports as well, the report view. So it just is on my watch list on the overview page. Moving down, the next widget is more about frequently used apps. Based on my historical usage of the applications, it shows me the applications I have been using most commonly. If I click on view all applications, it shows me the list of all applications which are available. And the last two widgets, they are around my recent tasks and my recent requests. My recent tasks would show me any tasks which have been assigned to me within last 24 hours. My recent request shows me any request which I have raised within last week. I can view how the process is progressing. I can see a read-only report of that form if it is an e-form. And I also have now ability of cloning that request. So if I clone on this, it copies the information from my previous submission. So as you can see, it automatically copied the information from my previous submission. It saves a lot of data entry time for me. So that's about the overview section. Now let's move on to the inbox. This is where you might spend most of the time. So as you can see, the first thing you will notice is now it is more of a card based layout rather than a grid based layout by default. So you are seeing they are grouped in various statuses: overdue, assigned, and new. However, you can change the grouping. You can say show me grouping based on priority, or show me grouping based on, say, processes or applications, right? So you can basically group them based on those as well. We still maintain all the task view, so you can say show me my task view, my direct team's tasks, my department's tasks, my team and sub team's tasks. If I'm a manager, I'll select my direct team's tasks. Department head, I can do my department's task. If I'm n level manager, I can say team and sub team's task. My group's task if I'm a group leader, and my group PS tasks if I just want to see what my group is working on, right? Again, all of those are permission control. You can also search based on task name and process name. For example, if I type invoice over here, because I said search based on task name, it shows me the tasks which start with invoice. Similarly, if I go to the process name filter, it shows me the ones which start with that process model name. So I can search by those. I can also see these things in a grid view. So if I clear my search filter over here and I switch to a grid view, there would be users who want to work in a grid based layout. They can do that. So you can see grid based layout now. So it has all the actions. If I click on the ellipses, it shows me the actions over here in the ellipses. I can change the priority. I can collapse them. And again, it's the same sorting option. So I can group based on priority. I can group based on statuses. So I can work in a grid-based view as well if I'm more comfortable in that. While in the card view, all the common actions are shown over here. So you can see view process, open task if it is eForm over here, reassign task, and the less commonly ones are grouped under the ellipsis button. So there is cancel, rework, task detail, create link, work item. They're all grouped under the less used task. It also supports bulk actions, so I can select multiple of these and I can take actions in bulk. One of the other things I wanted to cover is that it supports drag and drop. So for example, there are tasks which are right now in new status and I want to take assignment. I can just drag and drop and that gives me the assignment. If I want to put it back into the pool, I can just drag and drop and it puts it back to the pool. So that's about the task list part. Similarly, on the processes tab, you're going to see a list of processes which are grouped based on process name by default in this case. I have a view where I can say show me only the processes I started or processes I have worked on. And there are various search parameters like search by process name or process instance name. It also shows you the count of processes which are running under one application. Also, the quick actions are shown over here. There's view process. You can, if you have permission, you can cancel the processes and you can view the report view. Moving on to the My Apps part. By default, as I said, it shows you the frequently used apps. But if you wanted to see all apps, you can go to My Apps and shows you the list of apps. If you click on the information icon, it shows you the information about various instances of that application. So for example, let's select, say, this one. There's one instance running. Let me just see if I have one with some instance completed. So you can see that it will show a chart, shows you the information, which category it belongs to, and then a graphical representation of this. And you can click on start an app to launch the application if you want it. You can obviously launch it directly by clicking on the tile as well. So quick statistics is available. You can also group them based on category now. So you can say group the applications based on category. As you are aware, with version 8.0, we have introduced a concept of category. So you can group them based on category if you want it. And you can of course perform a search and filter. If you open filter, you can filter them, sort them alphabetically and based on release date, and you can say show me all apps or show me only form based apps or process based apps. Moving on, delegations. This is where you can create delegations for yourself, provided you have permissions in this case. So for yourself, anybody can create delegation. You can create delegation for others only if you have permission to create delegation for others. So I'm going to actually show this delegation over here. So as you can see, this is delegating tasks from demo user 1 to Nishant in this case. I'm going to actually remove this one. I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to say delegate from demo user 1 to Nishant starting 23rd and ending on 30th and all days in a week. So once this is done, I can say show me all delegations. Right now it is inactive. I could have marked it as active as well. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So now it is even active and I can always edit it or remove it if I want it. If I put it in edit mode, I can edit it in line over here. If I have multiple delegations, it would show more of a carousel view kind of a thing and I can scroll through them. And I can search through these delegations as well. And there are various filters which I can clear. External apps. Now this is where I can create links to external applications which are not eForm applications. They might be external applications like an ASP.NET or JSP applications, or some links which I wanted to put within my work center. So I can say, for example, Google. I'm going to say open it in new tab, maybe show it in say green color. So as you can see, the new tile got added. Again, these are all permission controlled, and when I click on it, it opens whatever website URL I specified in a new tab in this case. So those can be added. And lastly, moving on to statistics. So this will show me user level statistics in this case. So it shows me by default for the view my tasks. I can of course change it to, as a manager, I can select a different view as well. So it is showing me quick statistics of how I have been working in September. I can change it to say August. Shows me a little bit more data in this case. Which applications did I start? How many of them are overdue? How many tasks are overdue in say invoice processing? How many tasks are overdue in say shipping order? Same kind of a view for processes as well. If I switch back to say August where I have a little bit more data. So you can see some bars over here. It shows me an overview of how I've been working on various applications. So that's a quick overview of the new modern work center. As you can see, it has a totally different look and feel compared to the grid-based task list which we used to have. Grid support is there in both modern work center, which is a modern grid layout, and if you are still want to stick with the classic experience, you have that option as well. Now going forward, there would be some more capabilities which will be added before we release it. There might be some custom tab, custom column functionality which will be added, and some of the grouping functionalities might be added as well. Thanks a lot for your time.